Hello my friends and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you something that I used to get my clients better results when I was running a done-for-you marketing agency in the gym space. This will work for pretty much any lead gen niche. I don't think it's going to work for e-com, although the model will, but you'll have to sort of change some stuff around. I'm going to be giving you a spreadsheet. It's a very shiny spreadsheet. I use this for basically every single client I had. At our peak with NorthFlow Consulting, we had 64 done-for-you clients. We were running a 7-figure run rate and we basically had one of these sheets pretty much for everyone. It allowed us to keep clients for anywhere between 6 to 12 months longer than the average agency. And in this video, I'm going to basically explain how we use this sheet and how it can basically save your entire life from a service delivery perspective. And I'm really hoping this goes a long way to helping you on your journey so you can become more successful and everything like that. There's no paywall here. I'm not going to ask for your email. You don't have to join a Facebook group or anything. This is just free. All I ask in return is that you do not quit. Okay, that's really what I want from you here. You'll find the link in the description below, and it would help me if you subscribed and shared some love to the channel. So yeah, other than that, I'm going to hop into the video now. I don't have a 997 course. I'm not going to pitch you anything throughout this video until the very end, at which point you are welcome to leave if you so wish, darling. All right, talk to you later. Have a good day. All right, so when I was doing done-for-you marketing for gyms, I had very good client retention. 6 to 12 months typically is how long clients would stay, and a lot of that was in large part due to what you're looking at on the screen here. This client results tracker that I basically built. It's very simple, but I'm going to walk you through how to use it and more importantly how you need to think about service delivery. So if you want your service delivery to be successful, if you want clients to be happy, you need to build a system, right? And if you don't understand what a system is, you might think you do, but you probably don't. So what you need to do is you need to reframe your perspective of your service and reframe the perspective of your systems. So I'm going to show you how to look at it, right? So what I want to do is walk you through like what does a service delivery system actually look like? Because if you don't understand that and I show you this, you're not going to understand what the point of the spreadsheet is, right? So what you need to do is you need to imagine that your service delivery is something like a pipe, right? So let's just zoom in here and we will draw two of those. Your service delivery is a pipe, okay? And what this basically means is the system to service delivery has something called throughput, right? So throughput basically denotes value flowing through a system. And if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to sort of explain what it looks like, right? What is service delivery for a marketing agency? Well, it's delivering customers to the business you're working for, right? So what you've got to do is you have to ask yourself the stages of conversion at which someone goes from stranger to business customer, okay? Once you understand those stages of conversion, what you can do is you can build processes or subsystems that achieve the conversion, okay? So what we need to do for service delivery is put together a mechanism of conversion at small stages to take people through the stages of conversion, right? So what this basically looks like, and let's sort of, let's just draw this here, right? We're not going to play noughts and crosses, but here we have stage 1, right? Here we have stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, okay? At stage 1, we basically need to, this is the first stage of conversion, right? And this is where we need to take someone from a stranger, a complete stranger, to someone who has some level of interest, right? But the first stage of conversion for service delivery is going from stranger to interest. We've got their attention, we've said something that spikes their interest, and now they actually might take some action towards, talking to us, right? So stage 2, right, is the next stage of conversion where they go from interest, right? So they go from interested, forgive the writing, right? They go from interested, right, to a lead, right? And what this means is their interest and curiosity has peaked, so they're actually giving information that, in exchange for information. So that's really what this stage of conversion represents. You've got my interest, I like the offer, I like the sound of it. I'm happy to part with my personal information so you can contact me to tell me more about how this works. That is the point of stage 2. So the point of stage 1 is taking people who have no idea who you are and putting a stimulus in front of them, putting some words in front of them or a picture in front of them or a video in front of them, that by them coming into contact with it, they start to think, okay, this might be for me, I'm quite interested. We convert them from stranger to interested person. Stage 2 is from interested to lead. So stage 3 is basically lead to appointment. Now, this might seem pretty obvious, this stuff, but trust me, it'll help you understand from a paradigm perspective. So stage 3 is lead to appointment. So the third step of conversion for service delivery, this is specifically for lead generation, by the way. Probably might be the similar thing for e-com, but I've never done e-com, so I can't teach it. But the third thing is lead to appointment, right? So what that means is I've given you my information and you've reached out to me and I want to book an appointment, right? So they schedule, they verbally or digitally commit to a specific time. That is what an appointment is. It is a verbal or digital commitment to a discussion. That is if we take the first principle of appointment, that's what we're trying to do here. So when we say we're trying to book appointments, what we're really trying to do is we're not trying to book an appointment, we're trying to get a verbal or digital confirmation of discussion, right? That's essentially what we're trying to do, right? And then stage 4 is obviously pretty straightforward from here, right? We have the appointment, the actual appointment itself to the show. Now, you could add a stage 5 here, right? Which is obviously going to be the show to the close. However, if you're doing marketing for businesses and you're doing a done for you marketing service, you probably don't have much control over stage 5, because ultimately it's their responsibility to close the deals, right? The truly successful agencies do have things in place to coach clients on sales, but we're going to keep it simple, right? So we have these 4 stages of conversion, right? Now, here's the thing, right? This thing operates on a level of what we call throughput in systems thinking, right? Throughput is the flow of value through a system. How do we define value when it comes to service delivery? Well, value is created by this system when someone flows through to the next stage. So value flows when someone converts from stage 1 to stage 2, right? And then value once again flows when someone converts from stage 2 to stage 3. And value once again flows when someone converts from stage 3 to stage 4, right? If value does not flow, throughput is not flowing, right? And what that means is there is a bottleneck. So let's say that, we get people to go from stranger to interest and from interest to lead, but then lead to appointment, people don't convert. This is where the bottleneck basically becomes. So if you imagine, if we take, this is going to be awful, but if we take a bottle, right, let's just say this is a bottle, definitely not a bottle, but you get the point, forgive me, right? If you imagine that, this is the system right now, there's throughput flowing, there's no constraint on the system. We've got 100 units are flowing through here, right? And then what happens is we hit this bottleneck, right? The end of the bottle, whereby maybe only 20 units can flow. And so we start to build up this big sort of like backlog of value, which is basically becoming waste. So when value cannot flow, waste is created. And when waste is created, systems break and destroy themselves because there's no longer enough input to create the output at which value would be perceived by the client, right? So besides my awful bottle drawing, I'm hoping this is starting to make sense. You need to think in systems, in throughput, in value, in order for you to have a good service delivery process, because a lot of people think it's just about creating the right copy and having the right funnel and then calling someone up. Yes, it is. But you need to understand the mechanisms of conversion that create value for your clients in order for you to create them, okay? So how does a spreadsheet come into this and why is it important? So service delivery is all about defining bottlenecks, right? It's all about building out, in theory, a system or a collection of processes that allows value to flow through these by basically converting people from one stage to the next, right? So that's what we're trying to do with this, right? Is create value by flowing people through these conversion stages. So what we need to do is we need to be able to, at every moment, every day, define where the potential bottleneck is. Because you can have a system that functions fine, but in the future it might not function fine. You need to know what's going on, right? So what we do is we use this bad boy, this spreadsheet. Okay, let me zoom in a little. What we're basically looking to do here is track data every single day. So what I would do for my clients is, you can see I was doing this in 3-4 years ago, 2022. And what I do for my clients, I had this spreadsheet, right? And what I would do every day in blue is I would track yesterday's data, right? So if I'm running Facebook ads, I would come in, I would track the ad spend, how many impressions we made yesterday, how many clicks we got yesterday, right? Specifically clicks to the funnel, right? So we're looking for people who clicked on the link to express their interest. We're not looking for clicks like likes and comments and stuff. If you're taking people through to a funnel, you want to use an external bit.ly link so you can track the conversions, because Facebook's tracking is fucked these days. Form starts and leads. So this is going to tell you like how many people started the form to actually become a lead. And if you're using Typeform, you should have access to this information. If you don't, then you won't be able to track this. It doesn't really matter. The main thing we're looking for is the actual leads. Then schedules, right? So these are the things that you can track. So ad spend, impressions, clicks, form starts, leads, maybe not form starts if you're not using Typeform, but leads and schedules. Now, what your client's going to do every single day is track what's in pink. So they're going to track how many calls they conducted, how many sales they made, and how much money they made, right? So this is a two-way, it takes two to tango with metrics in this instance, right? What you're looking to do here is assess the overall health of the entire system. This gives you the view of the entire bottle, right? So imagine that your service delivery system is a glass bottle, right? It's wide or whatever. And basically what you can do with these metrics and these conversion rates and stuff and these cost per conversion is you can start to define if any bottlenecks are starting to show, so you can go in and open them up. So most of problem solving is problem defining, right? And so if your service delivery system isn't working and you don't know why, it's because you haven't got the data. So a lot of people say this where they're like, oh, like, yeah, my service delivery is like really bad, or like I can't seem to get results for clients, or every time I take someone on, it doesn't work. And then you say, why? And they say, I don't know, maybe I need to change the copy, or yeah, I'm thinking about changing the go high level snapshot. It's like, well, why are you doing that? Oh, I don't know, I'm just guessing. You cannot afford to guess when it comes to systems. You need data to provide you with a accurate, reliable, predictable way of defining what is preventing value from flowing, so you can open that bottleneck and allow value to flow, which is why clients will keep paying you, right? Because value to a client is qualified people walking through their doors, right? If that stops happening, then it's not going to work anymore. But here's the thing, right? You might be looking at, your system. If you don't know your metrics, you're kind of screwed, because if the thing isn't working, you've got no way of defining why it's not working. It's kind of like, imagine that your service delivery system is like a vehicle that you take to a car garage, right? Garage, whatever, to get it fixed. If your car won't start, there's a reason, right? But trying to fix a service delivery system without knowing the data is like trying to fix a car without popping the hood, right? It's like, oh, my car won't start. Oh, maybe I need to change the oil. Or, oh no, I know what it is. If I just change the spark plug, it'll be fine. Like, you don't know. And what's going to happen is you're going to end up fixing things that don't need to be fixed and probably ruining the car. And the same thing is true to the service delivery system, right? Having these metrics allows you to pop the hood and see exactly what's going on, and you can do a diagnosis. It's the same thing with a doctor's surgery. If you feel sick, or if you're unwell, or you've got a problem, the doctor will go in and they will ask you a bunch of questions, and they will diagnose you after the questioning. It's the same principle here. If you're not well, if your system isn't well and it's not contributing value to your clients, then you need to be able to diagnose the problem and hone in specifically on what problem you've got, and then you can solve it, right? So in essence, what we're going to be doing here is keeping a daily log of the data, and we track yesterday's data, right? So it's important that you're not logging at the end of the day, because obviously the day hasn't finished yet. We want to only report on what happened more than 24 hours ago and let a full day elapse before we actually log something, right? So if you come in to log your ad spend at 8 p.m., Facebook has still got 4 hours to spend it before the day is finished, right? So we log on yesterday's data. Impressions. So you're going to come in here and put in how many impressions you made, which Facebook will tell you, right? Or YouTube, whatever you're doing. Now, it's going to give you CPM, which is your cost per mile, or, essentially cost per 1,000 impressions. And this is the first sign of health, right? So in order for us to go through stage 1, right, which is strangers of interest, we essentially need to, we need to make impressions, right? We need to actually find strangers and give them our stimulus, right? And so that's a good indication here. If your stimulus isn't getting people interested, you'll have a really high CPM. And this is the thing, like, if you've got a really high CPM, it might just be the case, if your whole service delivery system isn't working, it might not be because of anything but the fact that you've just got the wrong audience, right? So this allows you to define the problem. So then we have clicks, which is how many people click to the funnel, and this will give us our click-through rate, right? So this is our first conversion rate that measures the overall health of our system. Is if I show 100 people my ad, how many people, or my ads in total, like how many people are going to click through? That is the first denotion of conversion, or the first denotion of interest is click-through rate, right? So then we have CPC, which is our cost per click. Then we have form starts and leads. You probably won't be tracking form starts, so you can just remove this. But leads. So once we've got leads, it allows us to calculate our FCR and our LPC, right? FCR is form conversion rate. So you probably won't need to be tracking this, because like I said, you're probably not going to be using Typeform. It's what I used, so you don't have to. But LPC is landing page conversions, right? So essentially what this means is if someone lands on your page, what are the chances they become a lead, right? In this case, you can see it's 33%. Now, if I had a whole month of data here, it would actually give me the averages of all of these things at the bottom, which gives me an overall, monthly average of all my metrics. Then I have CPL, so cost per lead, tells me exactly how much it's costing for me to generate a lead. Then I have schedules, what is the likelihood someone will schedule, and that is then calculated by the appointment booking rate. Then I have the CPB, which is the cost per booking. Then it's where it gets to the client section. They're going to be putting in the calls. It gives you the show rate, the cost per conducted call, the sales conversion rate is calculated here, and also the CPA, which is the cost per acquisition of a new customer, essentially. Profit loss will tell them the profit loss on the ad spend, and then ROI will give them the percentage ROI on the ad spend you spent, and ROIMA stands for ROI moving average, so it will show you the moving average of the ROI as you progress, right? If you want to make more of these sheets, you can just duplicate them. I'd recommend you have one for each month of the year for each client, and trust me, this gives you an uncanny level of clarity, right? So if you're not getting results for a client, there's a reason why. It's not magic, right? It's not like there's some sort of person against you or anything, and typically it's not because of a massive problem. So if you've been with a client for 2 months and then suddenly they're not getting any sales or appointments, and you start wondering why, it helps to have this data, because you can then ask yourself, okay, well, is the show rate in KPI? Yes, the show rate's in KPI, and you work your way backwards here. So the show rate's not the problem. Is the appointment booking rate not the problem? No, because we've got a stable appointment booking rate. And then you go and you say, is the LPC the problem? You think, oh, the LPC is only 10%, when before it was 33%. And then you go in and you look at everything that affects the LPC, right, the landing page conversion, and you figure out that for some reason the form, maybe your subscription to Typeform has ended, or some shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Or even if your LPC is fine and you dig down and you find that the click-through rate is really bad, and then you think, oh, well, why is the click-through rate really bad? And then you find out that you've basically got your frequency is spiked on your ads, so you just need to refresh the creative or refresh the audience. When you have like these upstream problems where, oh my God, my clients are getting no results, my clients are getting no problems, it's usually just because of one or two small things that aren't functioning properly. It's like if your entire car engine won't start, it's not always going to be because you're going to have to change the gears or like the gearbox or anything. Maybe there's just one cog that fell off and a safety mechanism kicked in, and there was just one bolt that wasn't bolted on completely tightly. It's like if you're not a good mechanic or you don't have a good mechanic, you might replace the entire gearbox without realizing that you just needed to tighten a little screw. That's basically the point I'm trying to make here. This is an insanely valuable thing to have. I would suggest you use it for all of your clients, and this is one of the reasons we got such good results for our clients, because we always had the data. If there was a problem or if clients stopped getting results, we could see exactly where the bottleneck was immediately. Then we could look at the glass bottle that is this spreadsheet. We could point and we could say, there is the problem. And if you drag and drop, you can calculate like a weekly average or a bi-weekly average or a monthly average, and you let regression to the mean do the thing. So what you don't want to do is make the mistake of checking this like religiously every day. You want to do it every day, but you only want to act on at least 5 days of data, right? So say for example, you have 1 day or 2 days in a row, maybe even 3 days in a row where your results are awful and you see a bottleneck form. It doesn't mean a bottleneck has formed, it just means that the data is maybe regressing to the mean, right? So regression to the mean is where averages do not represent themselves in small data sets, right? So let's say, for example, like, you have 3 days in a row where your cost per click randomly goes up. It doubles to what it usually is. That might panic you, but then if you just relax and cut and just breathe, you might find the next day you get triple the amount of clicks that you ever would have got in a normal day before. So averages present themselves in large data sets. You must learn to think scientifically and be rational when it comes to data. But I wanted to share this sheet with you because it helped me make, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions with my agency before, in terms of the additional recurring revenue value we got as a result of being able to jump on problems and solve them for clients. And trust me, when you send a client this, they're going to be like, holy shit, they actually know what they're doing. Like there's someone who really knows like what's good and what you need to do and everything like that. So that's basically how it works. I could walk you through some more details, but I think it's pretty simple and you should understand, at a base level what I'm trying to help you understand here. If you need any further help with this sort of stuff, you can always maybe add a comment or drop any of the video suggestions you've got down below. By the way, if you might find that you're pretty decent at service delivery. If the bottleneck you've got is actually acquiring clients, the same thing applies here. And we teach acquisition in more depth in Easy Grow, which is our program. If you want to explore Easy Grow, you can go and check it out. There's a link in the description. I don't care if you explore it or not. For full transparency, there's a sales funnel that's designed to get you to book a call with a member of my team to talk about buying our program. It's partly why I make these YouTube videos. You don't need to click it, there's no stress, but if you want to check it out, by all means, please do. Like the video if you liked it, comment anything, subscribe, it would honestly make my day. I know this is quite a direct and pragmatic video. I haven't really, made too many jokes here and there. I've just wanted to sit down and get it done. So I hope you found this useful, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.